rates, ratios, and unit rates last week. So rates and ratios are very important. And let's get started here. Ratios. Ratio is a comparison of two numbers. Okay? So when we want to find out the ratio of two numbers, we do this. This would be something like boys to girls. And again, a ratio compares similar units. Okay? So that's important to remember when you're looking at ratios. Rates, on the other hand, and again, sometimes ratios we want to know. How much do we have of one thing? When you're baking, you need to know how much flour to sugar, how much water to flour, okay? So that's important to know. We need to know those ratios. When we talk about rates, the important thing to remember here is that it compares different units. So it compares different units. And the one way to tell the difference between rates is it's two different things, like miles per hour. Miles is a unit of measurement, and hour is a measurement of time. So those are two different units that we're comparing. That's important to know. Another example of rate would be the cost per, say, pound. Okay? So we want to know cost is money, how much does it cost, and pound is weight. So those are two different units that we're comparing. And we will do some examples of those in just a moment. Unit rate, on the other hand, is how many units in one. So how many for one unit. Okay, so again, we did this in our exercise in the Sam's Club versus Walmart. We had to find out how much it was per ounce. So this would be like per ounce or per pound. And remember, that word per is definitely helpful in there as well to understand when you're doing ratios and rates. So say per pound. So we get it down to 1 unit. Okay, so let's do some examples here. Let me get to my draw here, and then let's take a look at what we have here. We have this is asking for a ratio here. Really important when doing rates and ratios. Please read the sentence and write down what it's asking for, and it'll also say in the order that it's asking for when you read it. So this says write the ratio that compares the girls to the total number of students. So we want to know how many girls. Let's see, is it going to write here for me? How many girls is important to the total number of students. Okay, so let's see, how many girls do we have? Let's find out. There's 1, 2, 3 girls. So let's put that over here. There's 3 girls, and it's 2. So we can write that several different ways. We'll do that in just a second. To the total number of students. So now we need to count the total number of students. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total students. So here's the total number, 9. Okay? Now if you remember, we talked about several different ways to write this, but one way we can do it is using colon. So 3 to 9. Okay? We can also do this as 3 over 9. And then the other way we said is 3 to 9. Okay? Now, let's look at this. One thing that's important to remember is that we need to simplify it. So to get our answer, we can simplify the 3 over 9 or the 3 to 9, any kind of way. We know that 3/9 can be simplified. If we divide by 3, because each of them has a factor of 3, 3 divided by 3 and 9 divided by 3, that gives us, I'm just going to get this out of the way real quick here, that gives us 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So that gives us 1 over 3. Now that's a better answer because it's simplified. And real simply what that means is for every 3 students in the class, one of them is a girl. Okay, so this is the total number of students, and this is how many girls are in there. And that goes, again, if we go to 6, that would mean there were 2 girls. If we go to 9, that goes to 3, which is the same as what our answer was. Okay? So we do need to simplify them. Another thing we need to do is about comparing ratios. Now that we know how to simplify them, we can compare these ratios and see if they're the same. We have 3/4 here, and then we have 12/16. Well, 3/4 is simplified. We can't go any further than that. But how about 12/16? That can be simplified. 12 and 16 have a factor of 4. Whoa, what happened there? Oh my goodness. Let me get that back here. Okay, so 3 to 4. So we can divide this by 4, and we can divide that by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So look at that. They are equivalent ratios. They are the same, 3/4 and 3/4. So those are the same ratio. Let's do this again. We have 25 over 35. 25 can be, and 35 can be divided by 5. So let's do this. I'm kind of doing it backwards, but just so you can see it. 25 divided by 5 is 5, and 35 divided by 5 is 7. So that gives us 5/7 for this one. Now let's try the other one. We have 10 divided by 14. So let's see. Let's try 2. So if we divide these each by 2, 10 divided by 2 gives us 5. 14 divided by 2 gives us 7. And there you go. These are equivalent. So they are the same. So each of these reduce 5/7, which is mean they are the same ratio. Okay? So now let's look at rates. Now let's read this and see what they want us to say. Alex can run 24 miles in, let's see, we'll even do this in a different color, in 3 hours. So those are 2 different units of measurement, miles and hours. So this tells me it's going to be a rate. And what they want to know, what is his average speed in miles per hour? Okay? So we'll start off, it says miles per hour. So let's do the first. Miles, 24 miles per, there's your line, hours. Okay? That's our ratio. Well, it's better said rate, but 24 over 3, right? But we want to know the unit rate. How much can he do in 1 hour? So we have to do our math here. We need to find for 1. So this bottom number needs to become a 1. And to get that to 1, 3 divided by 3 would give us 1, wouldn't it? So we also have to divide this by 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So what that means is he can run 8 miles in 1 hour. Okay? And that gives us his rate. So Alex's rate is 8 miles per hour. Okay, next one. Let's do this with pounds and dollars. So you can buy, what's it asking? 5 pounds for $35. And it again wants us to know how much does 1 pound cost, which is our unit rate again, right? So let's find out what our rate is. So you can buy, and usually money goes on top, you can buy with $35, 5 pounds. Okay? And we can see we need 1 pound, or 1 pound, the cost of 1 pound. So 5, the bottom number will go to 1. 35 divided by 5, because we did it on both sides here, right? 35 divided by 5 is 7. So that means that 1 pound, which is down here, let me see. 1 pound is down here. We'll circle that in green. That's pounds. And up here was the cost, money. So 1 pound costs $7. Okay? Now, one way you can kind of check this, just make sure if I accidentally did it 5 over 35, I would get some kind of silly decimal, like let's say it's about 10 cents or something. that really, if 5 pounds, that would only be 50 cents, wouldn't it? That doesn't even make sense to our equation because it's $35, right? We'd be way off. So that's one way to check to see if your equation's the right way. Does it make sense? Because $7 per pound, if it's $35 for 5, makes better sense. Okay, as always, please ask questions. If you need any help with your homework, please ask. Please finish your homework and turn everything in on time and study for your semester tests. Have a good day.